You were a panelist at the first session of the conference. Can you tell us a little bit about what you spoke about?
The points that were raised were that we're still storytellers, so the data can't take the place of real insight. In fact, it has to be translated into insight. In order to make the stories more relevant, we need to take the data and mine it. But actually, there's a lot of work that has to be done with the data. There's going to be serious investment in finding people who can translate that data. I mean, advertising has always relied on insight and human truth. But now it's coming, we're getting quite a lot of mathematical data that we can interpret, but people aren't working with it properly. And so I think what we concluded was there's a head truth and a heart truth. And it's divergent because you can't necessarily have one bottom line answer, but you have to work with both those things. You have to hold them in tension. That we can get a lot of data about how people are interacting with our products and with our communication through digital interfaces, but there's also a hard truth. There's the fact that you still have to captivate people. There's a magic. So there's the logic, but there's the magic. And those things can't be resolved into one thing. The mistake is saying it's one or the other.
You shifted from traditional to the digital. And how are you finding that? What have you found as great challenges? Or there must be links, obviously.
Yes. Well, I mean, like anything, when you make a list of pros and cons, the things that you think are going to be a challenge aren't, and the things that you never expected are. And it's been like that, I think. I mean, the biggest challenges have been to do with lack of budgets, much smaller budgets. You're sitting at the kind of far end of the marketing budget, competing for project budgets with other agencies. I'm very open to working with other agencies. I enjoy doing it, but very often the organization, your client's organization, is siloed, so you don't get access to not only the budgets you need, but to the kind of collaboration that you'd like to. There's some notable examples. There's a couple of clients who love the collaboration. They like having all their agencies around a table to work together, and that's great. But what often happens is it's the kind of a waterfall process where the main agency comes up with the idea, throws it over the wall to the PR agency, who then throws it over the wall to the digital agency. And it inhibits great work because you kind of come into the thing at the end, and instead of being collaborative, which is a way I far rather prefer to work, you kind of inherit an idea right at the end of the value chain, and with whatever budget's left, you have to make it work. And it makes you think more smartly about how you spend your time, but sometimes it's frustrating.
See that changing around because digital is growing, and we see a lot of traditional, like for example, print really, starting to, the figures are falling. So do you see that swinging around a bit?
Yes, but there's going to be a hell of a battle while it does that, and I don't know who's going to be left standing. So what's going to be interesting, because things like PR agencies and digital agencies and above the line agencies are all competing for the same share, the same bit of budget. And so it's going to be very interesting to see who wins that battle.